You've tried the self-help books, you've watched the motivational videos, you've set goals, created vision boards, and attempted to build better habits. Yet here you are, fundamentally the same person with the same limitations and the same results. I know because I was stuck in that exact same cycle for 7 years. The hard truth is that real transformation doesn't happen through addition. It happens through subtraction, through strategic disappearance, through creating a vacuum where your old identity once was. Today, I'm going to show you the exact protocol for vanishing completely and returning as someone even you wouldn't recognize. What if I told you that every attempt at self-improvement you've made has been sabotaged by the same person? You? Think about it. You set a goal to transform your life. You start strong, full of motivation, but within weeks, sometimes days, you're back to your old patterns. This isn't just about willpower. There's something much deeper at work. Your current identity has created an invisible prison. This prison has walls you can't see, but they're more powerful than steel bars. Every time you try to change, these walls push back, forcing you to remain the same person you've always been. The science behind this is fascinating. Your brain has created neural pathways that reinforce your existing identity. These aren't just habits, they're the physical architecture of who you believe you are. Every time you perform a familiar action or think a familiar thought, you strengthen these pathways. It's like walking the same path through a field every day. Eventually, you create a groove so deep that it becomes nearly impossible to walk anywhere else. This is what neuroscientists call identity homeostasis, your brain's powerful tendency to maintain a stable sense of self. Your subconscious mind will actively fight against any changes that threaten this stability, even when those changes might benefit you. It's why you can consciously want to transform, yet subconsciously sabotage every attempt. The problem extends beyond your brain. Your social circles function as external reinforcers of your existing identity. Research from social psychologist Dr. David Emodio shows that our social environments create identity contingencies, expectations about how we should behave based on our established roles. Your friends, family, and colleagues have specific expectations about who you are, and they unconsciously pressure you to maintain consistency with those expectations. Your digital presence makes this even worse. Every social media profile, every online comment, every digital interaction creates a permanent record of your identity. According to a study published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology, simply being reminded of our past statements makes us 30% more likely to act in accordance with those statements, even when they no longer reflect our true beliefs. This leads to what psychologists call commitment consistency, the overwhelming urge to act in alignment with your established self-image. Once you've defined yourself in a certain way, both publicly and privately, you feel compelled to maintain that definition even when it limits your growth. Consider two case studies. James tried to transform his career through gradual steps, taking night classes while maintaining his day job, slowly building new skills while keeping his old identity intact. 3 years later, he had made minimal progress, constantly pulled back by his existing self-concept and social expectation. Contrast this with Sarah, who embraced a complete identity reset. She left her job, temporarily disconnected from social media, moved to a new city, and immersed herself in a new environment with people who had no preconceptions about her. Within 1 year, she had completely transformed her career, skills, and outlook, achieving what would have taken James a decade or more. The difference. Sarah understood the power of strategic disappearance, the psychological circuit breaker needed to escape identity homeostasis. By creating distance from her former self, she created space for a new identity to emerge. Here's the first key insight that most transformation gurus never tell you. True change doesn't come from adding new habits on top of your existing identity. It comes from creating a vacuum where your old identity once existed. Only in that vacuum can a genuinely new self take root and grow. Creating that vacuum is just the first step in what I call the strategic disappearance protocol. The most extraordinary transformations throughout history, from business titans to cultural revolutionaries, share this hidden pattern that's systematically erased from their public narratives. There's a precise blueprint behind these metamorphoses that nobody discusses. Look at Steve Jobs after being forced out of Apple. He didn't just take a vacation, he completely disappeared from public view, shedding his old identity before returning to revolutionize multiple industries. Or consider Elon Musk in 2008 when both Tesla and SpaceX were on the verge of bankruptcy. He disappeared into isolated work for months, re-emerging with radical new approaches that saved both companies. The strategic disappearance protocol isn't some vague self-help journey. It's a tactical operation with 3 distinct phases. Each phase builds on the previous one, creating a complete transformation system, far more powerful than random improvement attempts. Before I break down these phases, ask yourself, what parts of your identity would you need to completely abandon to achieve your goals? Your relationships, your comfort zone, your digital presence, your current career, your geographic location? The answers reveal what's truly holding you back. Phase 1 is the identity reset. This goes beyond the vacuum we discussed and involves systematically dismantling your current identity. Start with a complete digital detox, not just a social media break, but erasing your digital footprint wherever possible. Change your environment drastically. New city, new living situation, new daily routines. Most importantly, implement psychological pattern interrupts to break neural associations with your former self. Dr. Michael Merzenich, a pioneer in neuroplasticity research, discovered that environmental change combined with new behavioral patterns creates rapid rewiring in the brain. This is why simply changing your thoughts isn't enough. You must change your physical environment and behaviors simultaneously to break identity homeostasis. Phase 2 is strategic skill acquisition. Most people make the mistake of learning random skills they find interesting. The protocol demands identifying high-leverage capabilities, specifically chosen to create maximum impact in your target field. These aren't just any skills, they're capabilities that create disproportionate results. This phase leverages what neuroscientists call identity plasticity, a brief window after your identity reset when new neural pathways form at an accelerated rate. Research from the Max Planck Institute shows that the brain forms new connections 40% faster during periods of significant environmental change. This is your opportunity to implement accelerated learning methods like immersion learning, spaced repetition systems, and deliberate practice protocols. Phase 3 is strategic reemergence. This isn't about randomly deciding when to return. It's calculating the precise timing for maximum psychological impact. You're not just returning with new skills, you're deploying those capabilities from a position of being strategically underestimated. When people haven't seen you for a period, they mentally freeze your capabilities at your previous level, creating a powerful advantage when you reappear functioning at a drastically higher level. The protocol includes precise timing formulas for different transformation types. Career transformations typically require 8 to 14 months, while physical transformations may need only 4-6 months of strategic invisibility. The key is remaining invisible long enough to complete the first 2 phases, but not so long that your network completely forgets you. Here's the second key insight most transformation experts never reveal. Transformation isn't just about becoming someone new. It's about strategically deploying your new capabilities for maximum impact. The way you reemerge matters as much as the transformation itself. This is why the protocol includes specific reemergent sequences designed to cement your new identity in the minds of others before old patterns can reassert themselves. Because where you stand right now, at the intersection of who you've always been and who you could become, most people will continue tinkering with their lives, making those small adjustments that feel like progress, but never break the gravitational pull of their established identity. But you see the truth now, don't you? Real transformation isn't about upgrading version 1 of yourself to version 1.1. It's about creating version 2. Someone with capabilities and perspectives your current self can't even comprehend. The path forward is clear. You can either stay locked in the prison of your current identity, running on the same neural pathways that have shaped your entire existence until now, or you can execute the disappearance protocol tonight. Not tomorrow, not when it's convenient, tonight. The choice is yours. Will you remain who you've always been, or will you vanish only to reemerge as someone entirely new?